Madam Toastmaster. How many of you enjoy, nay, love what you do in your life? How many of you honestly can say, excellent, because I do. Now, can I ask you another question? How many of you know why you do what you do in life? Yeah. Only 2 of you. 3 of you? Think about it. We're very easy, we step forward and we can say, yes, I love what I do. But when you think about what you do, when you really think about it, it's not that easy to say why I do it. Now, I was like most of you about 3 weeks ago. You would have asked me and I said, I love what I do. What do? I train. I go out there and help people become confident communicators. Teach people how to speak. I go into organisations and help them look at their communication. I do professional speaking and MC work. I coach people personally on their presentations. And I absolutely love it. Absolutely. It's probably the best thing that I've ever done. It only took me 35 years to work that out. But if you had asked me then, why do you do it? I would have thought, well, I love doing it. That's why I do it. And it wasn't until I sat down and I was speaking to someone on the Skype and we were delving into my business and we were discussing all the things that we do. And I was talking about how I do my speaking engagements. And I said, well, sometimes I really don't know what to speak about. Sometimes it's very hard for me to put together my portfolio to go and get keynote speeches because and let's be truthful, I say, I'm not dying. I haven't ever had an accident. You know, I've not recovered from something. I haven't had a major loss in my life. I've been fairly lucky in most things that I do. Because most people, when you go to do keynote speakings, they talk to you about how they finally conquered Mount Everest after having a long illness, or they recovered. You know where I'm going with this? These are most of the speakers. And I used to say to them, I said, I didn't have those earth-shattering things. I've never been poor and had to grow a business and then lost it and then grow a business again. I'm just an ordinary person. I said, so what do I do? And then he said these really profound words that triggered my thought processes. And he said, Trish, you have a great story there. Most people are ordinary people. They can relate to you because you have been where they have. Most people do get through their lives fairly comfortably. There might have a few ups and a few downs, there might be a few bumps in there, but most people do get through. I got off the Skype call and I sat back in my chair and I thought, do you know, I think I've just had a very big aha moment. Because now I know why I do what I do. Not just because I love it, because I'm going to share with you a little bit of my life. 35 years ago, I was just out of school. I had the world before my feet. I knew what I was going to do. I was going down to Melbourne, I was going to train for 2 years, and for some peculiar reason, I was going to go to Perth and work. Now, don't ask me why I wanted to go to Perth, but it seemed a good idea at the time. That's what I was going to do. I didn't get much further past Melbourne because that's where I met my husband, and we've still been married. In 2 weeks' time, it'll be 36 years. I then came back to Canberra and I worked. I got a job in the travel industry. Now, some of you I've shared this with before. In the travel industry, you actually have to get out there and talk to people. I know it's a bit of a surprise to that, but you actually have to do that. You've got to go to network meetings. You've got to be able to get up and speak. I suppose it might come as no surprise to you that at that tender age of 23, I was absolutely petrified of speaking. I didn't want to go to those network meetings. I didn't want to get out. I was quite comfortable in my little cocoon, very comfortably, thank you, reading my books for my pastime, going home to my husband. I didn't want to speak to people. Now, if you're going to be a travel agent, that doesn't really work too well. I can tell you that. So I spent my years dodging jobs that I loved. I loved being a travel agent, but I got out of it after 10 years because it was just becoming too stressful talking to people. There were jobs that I would have gone for, but I didn't have the confidence to go and apply for those jobs because I was just me. I didn't have any great skills that I believed. I didn't really have any great charisma to do any of those things. So I coasted. And I coasted. And I wasted years of my life because I wasn't doing what I wanted to do. Now, there were two big milestones that changed that. One, I said to somebody, hey, I've just moved to Brisbane and I don't know anybody and I don't have any friends. That brought me to Toastmasters. Toastmasters allowed me to expand my growth, to try things. And that allowed me to discover I love speaking and I love training. And that's where my journey for that began. The second major thing was I did lose my son about 5 years ago. And that made me think about you can't put off things in this life because you never know what's going to happen. When I combined those, I took a very big courageous step and opened my own business. And 4 months ago, I took another big courageous step by leaving my normal work and just solely working on my business. I've sold my house and I've put all my money into getting my business where I want it to be in the next 2 years. But I know what I like to do and I know why I'm doing it and I love it. And in 2 years' time, I will have a business that will be turning over 200,000 plus. I will have that foundation, memorial fund for my son, which I'll be able to help scholarships with, and I will be doing what I want to do and loving it.